Let's end lefties with a woke influencer who is seeking to scare the American people silly with what a second Trump term will look like. Here she details the sort of terrible policies Trump will implement if he's back in the White House.
First, he promises that he will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in history. He will also ask for the death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. He will close the Department of Education and return all education standards to the states to decide. He will put prayer back into school, and he will criminalize any race-based advantage programs.
So good so far. Is she trying to scare the public or make a pro-Trump campaign ad? It's hard to tell.
He will ban any federal dollars from going towards gender-affirming care, which means anyone with government-provided health care will no longer be able to access gender-affirming care except for Viagra and Cialis. Those will still be available. He will propose a constitutional amendment that gives a term limit to Congress. He will deploy the Department of Justice to investigate the Biden crime family and any of his adversaries or political rivals. He will immediately pardon all of the January 6thers, and he will create a task force to investigate anyone who arrested, charged, or imprisoned a January 6er. He will increase the penalties for underage criminal offenders, strengthen immunity for police officers, and deploy the National Guard to patrol woke cities. On day one, he will reassess our participation in NATO and says that every European country needs to pay the United States for protection.
Okay, now I'm thinking she's actually doing this on purpose. Just about everything she listed there, even with the added hyperbole, is hugely popular with much of the American people. And by the way, despite the misreporting you may have read, Trump forcing NATO partners to actually pay up strengthens NATO. That's a good thing, but let's go back to our woke TikToker.
He will kill all e-vehicles and e-vehicle legislation, seeking to replace that with the development of a flying car. He believes that we could create a car that vertically takes off.
Now that just sounds awesome. You've convinced me, ladies. Surely there's nothing else wonderful that you could tell me about a second Trump term.
He will remove all of the limits on American natural gas exports and drill baby drill for oil domestically. He will impose a tariff of up to 60% on Chinese imports. He will extend the 2017 tax cuts and drop the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%.
Well, lady, don't threaten me with a good time. As a US citizen, if half that stuff happens, I think I'm going to be moving back.
And he will take billions and billions of dollars from private university endowments by taxing, fining, and suing the universities. He specifically names Harvard in this one. And then he will use that money to create the American Academy. It is a free online college that will be free of wokeness that he will force employers to recognize as a bachelor's degree equivalent. So that's Agenda 47.
Okay, this is how the Republicans can save millions in the lead up to the presidential election. Just play that young lass's clip over and over again. It's the best campaign ad I've seen.